Coney stayed here once upon a day. Parnell, Michael Collins, the list is endless. And today, well, I'm here. But we have wonderful guests and we have great competitions. And if you're in the area, come to O'Donovan's Hotel. Come in. I'm right inside the door. Right inside. And Pat O'Donovan is here with me as well. Patrick, good crowd here again today. I mean, yesterday we had good crowds, had we not?
This is my favourite town in all of County Cork, Clonakilty. I think it's a great place.
Oh,
great
you
people.
crawler, you.
Great crack.
You crawler.
Great place for music.
Yes.
Lovely beaches nearby. It is certainly my favourite County Cork town.
Ah, boy, you weren't in politics. Now, listen, there's a big crowd here, so you work the left-hand side of the hall, and I'll work the right-hand side.
I get the pretty girls.
Yes, you get all the good-looking women on that side. I'll nip over here and say good afternoon to Tommy O'Donovan, who is the proprietor, co-proprietor, with the family here. Tommy, thank you for the invitation, and a pleasure to be here, sir.
Well, hello, Stevie. Welcome to Clonakilty.
It's a nice place, as Patrick was saying, and of course it's a very beautiful day today. You're drenched in beautiful sunshine.
Oh, it's a beautiful day, thank God. But sure, the sun always shines in West Cork. You should know that anyway.
What a good quote from future publicity. The sun always shines on West Cork. Now, the O'Donovan family are here at this very premises for many a day.
We're fifth or sixth generation here now.
So the hotel would have started around 1850, something like that, was it?
Oh, back around in the time of Adam and Eve, sometime around then. It's gone through good years and bad years. Thank God we're going through good years now.
Is the tourist season good this year? There's a lot of people around town, for the middle of September, a lot of registrations from far afield.
Tourism this year has been very good. And thank God, in Clonakilty we have an awful lot to do and see as well, So that has been a great attraction as well.
We'll be talking to people from West Cork Travel and talking about the model village, and we've a lot of guests coming by during the course of the programme. But of course, in this premises where we are today, Mr. Parnell, Charles Stuart Parnell, was a regular visitor here.
That's correct. Well, I don't remember it, obviously, myself.
Of course you don't. Any of the family, any distant relations remember it or anything like that? Stories handed down through generations?
Well, if they do, unfortunately, they didn't tell me much about it. But yes, he visited Clonakilty on a couple of occasions, and he gave a speech or two from the hotel here, from the first floor window out to the multitudes below.
Yes, of course, this is a fine place. I must go up on the balcony later on and see how it's like from up there. Michael Collins would have been a regular visitor here to the hotel?
Yes, well, of course, Michael Collins was born near here in Woodfield. The site of his home is now a national monument, and it's open to the public. He lived in the town as well for a while, and of course he was a very good regular customer here also.
Oh, good. Good to know. I was telling people this morning on the promotion that Tojo, the chimpanzee, is laid to rest somewhere here on the premises. Would you please share with the listener the story, the sad but true story of Tojo, the chimpanzee? Because nobody believed me when I was telling them. So you tell them. You're the proprietor of the place.
Well,
I'm with Tommy O'Donovan, who's co-proprietor of the O'Donovan's Hotel, where we are holed up this afternoon. We're right inside the door on the left-hand side. Come by because we have some great giveaways on the Take 5 quiz and some wonderful guests. Tommy, when I was cut down there over the airwaves, we were about to tell the listener and her friend about Tojo the chimpanzee. And I was telling them that this is a sad but a true story. You are the proprietor and you have all the details. Because, as I was saying, people did not believe me when I told them this story.
Well, Tojo was a mascot on this plane, this B-17 Flying Fortress, and he was called Tojo after the Japanese Prime Minister at the time. When they arrived in Clonakilty, they had this mascot with them, and there was a crew of 10, and they were interned in the hotel here for the few days.
They were interned?
Well, that's what they say anyway,
right.
In turn.
They were roughing it at your hotel?
Roughing it at the hotel. Of course, as you could imagine, there was a carnival atmosphere here for the few days, and a great time was had by all. This monkey, anyway, called Tojo, unfortunately, the weather wasn't too kind to him. He was more used to warmer weather, so he passed away. So what they did was this Lieutenant T.W. Galvin from the Irish Regular Army came down with a few of his lads, plus the crew from the plane, and they gave this poor monkey a full military burial out in the back of the hotel.
Right. And is there a place to mark this where the lad is laid to rest?
Well, there was, but unfortunately we built a bit of a function room at the back there about 30 years ago, and he's well and truly buried now under it somewhere.
Right. Well, when people ask about him, you see, he's in the historical annals of this place. They all talk lovingly of Tojo. It should be marked in some way, I think, Tommy. We must start a campaign, let's mark the grave of Tojo the chimpanzee.
Well, maybe someday we might put up a plaque to him. Who knows,
Okay, well, I'm starting it here and now this afternoon. Of course, festivals, very much a part of West Cork.
Well, Clonakilty is a tremendous place for festivals. We've got some great committees and organisations in the background. And there's festivals going all summer, really.
Right.
Big ones and little ones.
What's your major festival here? You have so many. What's the major one here?
Well, we have what we call the Festival of West Cork,
right,
which is on at the start of summer, and then we have the West Cork Rally, which is excellent, and this year they just started the Country and Western Festival, which went very well.
Go well, does it?
Yeah. Another festival that we have is the Old Time Fair, where we all dress up in old-fashioned gear and act the Aegis around the town for the day. It's a mighty job.
Great stuff. I tell you, there's a festival, these boys will come up with it. They're coming by, the local papers are coming by for our photographs, so just smile at that camera over there. There you go. Wonderful. Thank you. Tom, I'll talk to you afterwards. Just nipping across the foyer here, because so many people are coming by, and the school is out, and the schools are coming by, which we love to see. So glad you could make it. Here's Charlie Culdan from, so many titles here. West Cork Travel, the Enterprise Board, the Miniature Railway Line, the Village, which you very kindly... I was along to see this during lunchtime. It really is something special. But, Charlie, good to see you.
Mini look at our miniature village.
Would you describe for the listeners this miniature village? Because it really is... I will be raving about it in the days and weeks ahead. It really is something fantastic. And Smallies would love it. Oldies would love it as well.
Well, it would, yeah. It certainly is a new concept, and it's unique in Ireland, and certainly unique to West Cork. It is a model village based on the railway line of West Cork, which will encapsulate Clonakilty, Bantry, Skibbereen, Timonigh, Dunmanway, etc., when we have the whole scheme finished. As you saw this morning, Clonakilty and a little bit of Bandon and Ballydehob is already completed, and by the end of next year we will have phase 2. But you saw yourself, it is the workmanship that it is top class. It certainly competes with anything that's in Europe. And with the trains and that running around, it does appeal to young and old. There's no doubt about it.
Yes, as you arrive, they're old Chorus Impar Erin trains.
They're all coming early trains, Chorus Impar Erin trains, yes.
The steam is puffing away, and sound effects, and then you step right back in time.
You step right back in time, as you said, and as I told you, not alone do you step back in time, but you step on the old dump of Clonakilty, which is now obviously transformed. And that was our greatest eyesore here 10 years ago, when one came from Cork. The first time you saw the sea was in Clonakilty, but the next thing you saw was our terrible dump, where that's all transformed now, and we have this magnificent model railway village.
And it is really beautiful. It is something special. I have to tell you, folks, if you're coming down this neck of the woods, you have to go see this little miniature village. It is absolutely something special. So, the Enterprise Board, of course, behind this?
The Enterprise Board, it's one of our pet projects, obviously. It was the brainchild of the West Cork Heritage Group, who came to the Enterprise Board about 8 years ago and said, look, we think this would run, and we certainly at the Enterprise Board took it on as a project, and it has been absolutely tremendous. We've got fantastic help from people like Urban Council, County Council, FOSS are our greatest benefactors, Port Falta, Joe Walsh, our local minister here, has been absolutely tremendous in opening doors for us. And we are certainly most grateful to all the local authorities and the bodies who have helped us all the way along the line, and it's including RDF funding, of course.
Okay, and it's only phase 1. You have phase 2 and 3 to go yet. And how many bodies would you put through your doors? This summer has been a great success for you.
Well, we opened on July the 9th, which was a miserable day, the worst day I think we had this year for our president year. And from July the 10th, really, up to last Friday, we had 27,000 people, which is no mean achievement in Clonakilty.
What about yourself, though, sir? I mean, West Cork Travel. You set up West Cork Travel back in the days when very few people were travelling.
when it was wild out in the West on the Wild West Festival song. Yes, I did. I was in the building business, and in 1963-64 I built chalets and a hotel for a German company in Castlefreak. And through my involvement in that, I got involved in tourism and travel. But I was always interested in travel anyway. And in 1966, I opened West Cork Travel. In 1967 and 68, I started West Cork Horse-Drawn Caravans, which I'm sure you remember, or maybe you're not that old, but Stevie, see all these caravans.
No, we all remember fondly your caravans, which you exported, did you not? Did you not take your caravans to, well, you took them over to the continent?
We exported them, we built them and exported them to France, but I took them on a program around Ireland, around Holland, and gave out Irish whiskies all over Holland. Now, from the point of view of publicity, it was the greatest thing that was ever done, not because of the Irish whiskey that they got probably, but of the traffic chaos we caused. Could you imagine a horse-drawn caravan and a horse doing what he has to do down the middle of the main street? So we absolutely created havoc in Holland. And as a result, a lot of people still come back and talk about the horse-drawn caravans from West Cork. So I think it was done. Well done.
Actually, we were just taking a little walk around the town earlier on. I was going up at 3 o'clock. I came across a red light district here in Clonakilty in my travels today. Would you please explain, since you're the man, best suited for explaining this? Because you know the place so well, you understand.
How well you spotted that now, Steve. I thought that was only for old gentlemen like myself.
Yeah.
That was, obviously, we were ahead of the posse as regards Amsterdam. And where you saw that plaque up this morning, that was the quays of Clonakilty. The tide and the barges came right up into that area. So we were ahead of Amsterdam with our ladies in the windows for sale.
Okay, that was a couple of years ago. Anyway, are you going to stay with us, Charlie? Will you stay around for the afternoon for a little while?
Thank you, will do, of course.
Okay, attaboy. We're just going up to 3 o'clock, back to the studios on Union Quay. News update.
RTE Radio Cork News and Sport.
Good afternoon. The news at 4 with Flora McCarthy. A crucial meeting of Irish Steel craft workers has just begun in Ringaskiddy Community Hall to discuss yesterday's layoffs of over 400 workers. Meanwhile, a craft worker at Irish Steel told RTE Radio Cork that negotiation rather than discussion was necessary to solve the problem. Tim Leahy, a fitter, said that the company had given the wrong impression of the difficulties at the plant.
My feeling at the moment is that the company are giving out a total a view that is not quite correct. They're saying that we are refusing to be retrained, and the general public have the belief that we won't be retrained in work that relates to our job. But in actual fact, what the company wants us to do is do somebody else's job, along with our own. And what that means, and people may not realise it at the moment, is, but if the ordinary working man will apply for a job in the future over there, he'll be asked, does he know anything about fitting? Does he know anything about electricity? And he will be expected to do that along with his own job. Now, those people are going to be laid off, and they expect us to go in and do their jobs.
Responding to craft workers' comments, the chairman of Irish Steel, Pat Dineen, said that the survival plan is not open to negotiation.
We have a steel mill that is, by European standards, is of high quality. We have some extremely good workers in the mill. We are overmanned, and we need a cross-fertilisation of jobs to bring us up to the same standards as exist in other European. We're just behind the times here. You cannot run the plant the way the craft workers want to run it. And if they want to negotiate their way around that, it's not possible. I certainly wouldn't attempt it.
A £50,000 fundraising campaign was launched this morning by the Little Island Community Association to fight the installation of a sewage treatment plant in nearby Carrigrennan. Opposition to plans for a municipal waste incinerator at Shallinbally mounted this morning, with the Cork Environmental Alliance voicing its support for the Ringaskiddy Residents Association, who have already objected to the plans. The developers, Limerick-based Shannon Combustion, have designated a 9-acre site for the incinerator. There have been renewed calls today for the abolition of service charges in Cork. Householders Against Service Charges have called on the government to abolish what they describe as grossly unfair double taxation. Finally, as Cork publican Con Murphy enters the 4th day of his hunger strike, his family has accused the Bank of Ireland of changing an agreed settlement proposal. And now this afternoon, sports news, over to Pat McAuliffe.
Good afternoon. 4 minutes after 3 o'clock. We begin with golf news, and because of the heavy rains, the first round of the Dunhill British Masters golf was washed out at Woburn today. So the first round will indeed take place tomorrow, the second round on Saturday, with the final 36 holes to be played on Sunday. Athletics news, Sonia Sullivan finished second in the 5,000 metres at a meeting in Tokyo. Her time of 15 minutes 21.2 seconds was nearly 15 seconds down on Portuguese winner Fernanda Ribeiro. News of Gaelic games, 2 fixtures in the Cork City Division down for decision tonight. St Finbarrs are at home to Douglas in Junior Football League, and in the same division, St Nick's meet Brian Dillon's. The games will start at 6:30. And in soccer tonight, Sligo Rovers face a massive task when they beat Belgian side Bruges at the showgrounds in the first round of the European Cup Winners' Cup. Well, racing this afternoon at Beverley was abandoned because of the rain in England, but we have 2 meetings to look at here at home at Dundalk. The 2:30 was won by number 16, Dahlia's Best, and that was returned at 7-1. Non-runners 6, 22 and 23, and one result from Yarmouth across Channel at 2:30 went to number 8, Fighter Squadron at 14-1 because of the soft going. There were 4 non-runners, 1, 3, 6 and 11 didn't go, but I'll be back with more sport at 4.
Thanks, Pat. And the weather forecast, cloudy conditions with outbreaks of rain will continue to extend southwestwards, followed by brighter weather with scattered showers, highest temperatures of 13 or 14 degrees. And that is, of course, the 3 o'clock news and sport for now on RTE Radio Cork. Next news bulletin at 4.
You gotta say amen. You gotta say amen.
Take a nun.
Who used to be the busker?
A nun.
Who wants to be a ballerina?
A nun.
Who wants to be a country singer?
A nun.
Who wants to be a star?
A nun.
Who's holier than thou?
What have you got?
A habit forming? Blockbuster. Miracle of laughter.
Nonsense. The second coming from September 15th, Cork Opera House.
Yes! Mine. Made for me. Unique. One of a kind.
Why deny yourself the feeling you get when you own a new Nissan Micra? Acclaimed all over Europe for its design, its spaciousness, its technology, and its 16-valve engine. The Micra is also easy to maintain, and it's more economical. A 1-litre engine means cheaper road tax and insurance. Then there's Nissan's AA customer care and a 3-year manufacturer's warranty. Go on, treat yourself. Test drive a new, reliable, affordable, lovable Micra. It's all in a Nissan Micra.
I'm crazy. The incredible Willie Nelson. Crazy for feeling so lonely.
One of the most celebrated singer-songwriters in the world, Willie Nelson, will play the Green Glens Arena in Mill Street on Friday the 7th of October. Willie finally comes to Ireland with his All-American show, and if you join me, Paul Scanlon, here on RTE Radio Cork from Monday to Friday next week at 4:30 each afternoon, you could be one of my VIP guests at the concert. That's Willie Nelson in Mill Street and RTE Radio Cork, putting you in the audience.
If I'd only had one arm to hold you.
Stevie B on RTE Radio Cork.
And welcome back to Clonakilty. We're here in O'Donovan's Hotel in Main Street. If you're around, drop in. If you're driving through, stop and drop in. We're having a little bit of fun, a little bit of chat, a little bit of conversation. And I'm joined now by Anne Sheehan. Anne Sheehan is a lady famous for cycling bicycles, not alone all over Ireland, but America and last summer, Australia.
That's right, yeah. We cycled from Sydney to Brisbane with the National Council for the Blind. It was known as the Pacific 1000. It turned out to be 1,150, all uphill, I might add. But it was very good, an interesting cycle, but too hilly.
And the hills led to a sort of an unusual situation in that on the way down, somebody was actually done for speeding on a bicycle.
Well, you see, Pat, on all these hills, it was very hard going up. And going down most of the hills, we had to pedal because it was very rough terrain. But we got one hill that was just steep and smooth. And there was a speed limit on it which said 55 kilometres. Now, this was for trucks, and you actually had roads going off the hills for the trucks in case they were out of control. But there was about 30 of us together, and we thought, this is it, we're going to go for it. And we went flying down the hill 59 km an hour. And 2 of the guys with me were stopped by the police at the bottom of the hill and fined on the spot $100 each.
And actually expected to pay up?
They had to pay up there and then. But it was okay, we made a collection later on that night. We paid them back. But it was worth it. That was the only hill we got to cycle, we got to freewheel down. Everything else was a hard slog.
But I'm sure there was fun there as well. I mean, I heard, for instance, that the Australians couldn't believe, what you were actually doing, that you came from Ireland to cycle this distance along the Pacific coast of Australia.
Well, that's right. I mean, we started in Sydney, and we had 3 days in Sydney. And on the second night, the Irish Association of Sydney gave us a big gala dinner. There were 1,500 people at it. I mean, they were amazed that we were going to cycle from Sydney to Brisbane. They just thought we were crazy. On that night as well, Pat, you can imagine 1,500 people. They turn all the lights down, and they bring a small child in with the Chariots of Fire music, running around with an actual blazing saddle. There were 1,500 people crying. It was fantastic.
And of course, all this was to raise money for a very worthy cause.
It was to raise money for the National Council for the Blind of Ireland, and we raised over 300,000. Now, Anne O'Higgins and myself from Clonakilty, we raised ourselves £6,000. Murphy's Irish Stout were our main sponsor, and the people of Clonakilty, business people, and even friends of mine that are here now, all sponsored us. Skibbereen, Goleen, Ballydehob, Bandon, everywhere. Everybody was very good.
You're beginning to make a habit of the cycling marathons. I mean, you started with, if I remember correctly, with the maracycle from Dublin to Belfast, but you had to add in the Clonakilty to Dublin leg on both ends.
Yeah.
And you've been to Florida and Australia, and you're not finished yet?
No, well, Eamon Duffy from the National Council for the Blind rang me last Monday to tell me that next year's trip was going to the Pyrenees and the Alps. So now I've decided to take off down to Kerry and start practicing on the county bounds, because there's not a hill bad enough in the county of Cork to meet what we met out in Australia.
I can see you entering the Tour de France next.
Well, I mean, if we can do Australia, we can do Tour de France. We had 17 visually impaired cyclists with us on tandems. And if you saw those blind people on the back of tandems climbing these hills, I mean, there's no reason why we can't do it. We felt sorry for ourselves and we cried going up the hills. But when you're crying and you're looking at somebody that's blind or disabled in some way, getting up that hill and getting to the top, you have to do it.
Is there much training involved for trips like this?
Well, Anne and I were cycling 100 to 140 miles a week, and you'd need to be doing that for 1,000 kilometres, especially if it's uphill. We got cut short with Australia. We didn't expect it to be so hilly. But there's no point in taking on a trip like this unless you're going to be fit for it, because you're not going to be able to do it. And I know from my own point of view, if I set out to do 1,000 kilometres, then I have to do 1,000 kilometres, even if it kills me.
So everybody in Clonakilty can get ready to dig deep in their pockets, because the two Anns are around looking for money again for next year.
Not for a while, don't tell them that yet. Listen, before you go, Pat, can I say congratulations to my daughter Sarah and her friend Louise and Anne. They got their junior silver results today and they're very good.
Well done. Round of applause, I think, is deserved. And I believe Sarah is over with Stevie right now.
Thank you, Patrick. What about that? And Shane, that, of course, talking about the Pacific Coast, 1,000 miles, Sydney, Brisbane. And, of course, you can see it on TV, I think, around Christmas time, because I know our very own Colin O'Callaghan took a film crew on that particular trip, so it should be wonderful. Let's play the Take 5 quiz. Good afternoon. Who are you?
Sarah Shane.
Sarah, you're in the school uniform. Just arrived. All the girls are coming in from the school. Do you have exam results today?
Yes.
Tell me. Your mother's listening. Be gentle. How was it? How are the results?
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Fine,
We're talking brilliant here. How did you do?
Fine, grand.
Yeah. Honours?
Some.
Good. And were you pleasantly surprised when the results came through in the letterbox today?
No, we got them in school. It was nerve-wracking, but it was grand.
Did you get down nice and early this morning?
Yeah.
And did you sleep at all last night?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So you're happy. You're happy. That's the
yeah.
Let me see. We have some wonderful prizes. We have dinner for two here at the hotel. We have Yahoo's of black pudding. And we'll be talking to the black pudding company later on in the afternoon. We have boxes of biscuits. Wonderful prizes. Ready to go. I'm starting the clock now. The Take 5 quiz. Ready?
Yeah.
Nod your head and say yes, Steve.
Yes.
Yes, Steve. Yeah, very good. Okay, question number 1. From what was Cinderella's coach made of?
A pumpkin.
It certainly was. 2. If you were born on Christmas Day, what is your star sign?
A Capricorn.
You certainly are. What is Tottenham Hotspur's home ground called?
White Hart Lane.
It is. You're good at this. From which show does the song There Is Nothing Like a Dame? Which show does it come from?
South Pacific.
Very good. Who reputedly confessed to having cut down a cherry tree?
George Washington.
Oh, how about that, folks? Was that wonderful or what? Y'all are still here. It was very good. You could be a winner. Really?
Thanks.
First time on radio?
Yes.
Oh, well, you see this? You're starting young. Well done. You stay around. Don't go away. There's more people coming in the door. Let's have some music, shall we? Here's Susie Boggers. And just like the weather. The weather is beautiful in West Cork. If you're driving, come in and say hello. I'll make it worth your while. I like it. That's Susie Boggers, just like the weather. The weather is beautiful down here today in Clonakilty. Clonakilty it's always looking lovely down here. Today it's looking especially beautiful. So I hope you can come by and say hello to me. I'm always glad to see you. I'm always glad to see people coming by. And now, let me see. Who's arriving here? With so many people coming around. Good afternoon to you, madam. Who are you?
Maura Scannell.
Good to see you.
Yeah, Mick Finn's daughter.
Ah, Finn's Bar down the end of the road?
That's right.
Who have you got here with you? You've got some of the girls with you as well.
Bunty and Pauline.
Bunty? Say good afternoon to Bunty. Hi, Bunty.
Hi, Stevie.
You okay over there?
I'm very well, thank you.
You have the nurse's uniform upon you?
That's right, just coming from work.
Are you coming from work now?
Yeah.
You just decided to come by and say hello to us?
That's right.
Well, I'm always glad to see you. And in case any of us collapse on anything, you're ready for all eventualities.
Absolutely.
What hospital are you with?
Mount Carmel Hospital, Clonakilty.
Just up the road?
Just up the road.
And you do a lot of fundraising up there?
Yes, we've made a lot of improvements to the hospital over the last 10 years, so as a result there's been a lot of fundraising in the locality. Everybody and anybody, all the local organisations have contributed. We've put an extensive corridor into the hospital, and we've put a lift into the hospital and improved the cardiac unit in the ambulance, so it's ongoing all the time.
And are we fundraising at the moment for anything we should know about?
Well, I'd say still funding the lift and the ambulance.
Good stuff.
And there'll be something else coming up, I'm sure, after that.
Okay, you let us know about it. Who else is here now? Who else have we got here?
Pauline.
Hello, Pauline.
Hello.
How are you?
Pauline Lowney here.
Pauline. Now, you have an unusual occupation.
Yes,
Not really.
Not really. It's not so unusual. In Europe, certainly it isn't unusual. But in Clonakilty, maybe.
Yeah.
I drive a bus.
Yeah.
A minibus.
It's your very own bus.
My very own bus. Well, I suppose my husband's as well, maybe. But my own, basically.
And when did you start into the busing business?
Oh, about 8 years ago. We found a market for minibuses in Clonakilty, and we just went along and bought some buses, and now we do that. That's our livelihood.
How much does a bus cost nowadays?
Well, if you buy new buses, I'm afraid minibuses are in the region of between £60,000 and £70,000. But we don't buy new buses, obviously, because we couldn't make a living if we had to buy buses that cost that much money.
So how many have you got?
We have 2 at the moment, and in the process of buying another one.
And you always leave your way, because you're actually going to do some picking up
I'm going to do some work, yes. We service 4 schools. We do 4 school runs, and we work for the hospital, for the daycare centre, which is a wonderful amenity in Clonakilty, also attached to Mount Carmel Hospital. And we bring elderly people from all around the country, a radius of about between 15 and 20 miles, and they absolutely love it in the hospital, the daycare centre.
Good girl. Let's get back down to Finn's here. There's a lot of stories about this daddy of yours, and indeed about this pub of yours, Mick Finn's.
Right.
It's a famous bar, and this daddy of yours is quite famous.
Yes, but he was in his time.
What's the famous story about your daddy and Jack Lynch?
Oh, that was a football match in, look at him. That was a football match in Banton years ago. I don't know what year, with Jack Lynch. They were playing against St. Nick's, and they'd only 1 ball, and they were running out of time, and there's 2 points to go. So Mick Finn kicked the ball into the river, thinking the match would be over, and Jack Lynch went in to retrieve it.
Yeah.
And I think they lost the match.
It's a famous story. They all speak about that story.
Oh, yes, that's right, yeah.
They all talk about it. And Wogan has been by to your bar?
Oh, he has, yes. We've been on Wogan's Ireland in his book.
Ah. And in fact, Wogan has a theory about this pub of yours.
Mickey Finn comes from our pub.
Is that, and you think so? The expression, the Mickey Finn, or the drink?
I'd say so.
The drink of Mickey Finn.
That's right.
Is to be had in your bar.
Yes.
Okay. And so
I won't tell you what goes into that.
Oh, no, please. But I'll be up after us for a Mickey Finn or 2. A good drink. And what about Paddy O'Shea's video?
Oh, yes, we were on Paddy O'Shea's Ireland, his video of Ireland. He did pubs around Ireland. And we were the first pub on
Mickey Finn's is the place. And before I leave you go, there was a guard in there at the bar when I went in, just to have a Mickey Finn.
Right.
Now, tell us about him, who he is. A handsome-looking fella. Is he here? Is he here at the moment?
He's not here, no, he's not.
Yeah, tell us who he was.
Pat Griffin, and he'll be on...
And we'll see him on telly next Sunday.
On Sunday, before the All-Ireland.
Now, why
Maybe
is this?
Galway 25 years ago.
25 years ago, he was playing for Kerry.
He's practicing cleaning the windows above the barracks at the moment.
He was practicing his wave in the bar.
Yes.
The little wave.
Cleaning the windows in the barracks.
I thought it was a bit Sonny Knowles looking, the wave. I mean, it was a bit limp wrist.
That's actually what he's practicing.
It was a bit on the limp wrist side, the wave. So could you get him to be a bit more manly in the wave for Sunday then?
Oh, I'll tell him that.
If you would, please. Okay then, well, for the moment, thank you for being
All
with
right,
us. That a girl. Patrick, I see you have some rock and roll stars.
Listen, I've got a living legend, as it were, here with me. Now, you know, people in Britain and on the continent were celebrating the end of World War II 50 years ago this year. But us aging hippies were celebrating 25 years ago Woodstock. And I'm joined by Noel Redding. Didn't play the first Woodstock through some minor little accident, but certainly played the second one. What was it like, Noel?
Very wet, like West Cork. But it rained at the first one. I played, a couple of 3 weeks ago at the the original site, as we said earlier, was at Yaska's Farm. And I played with this band called Mountain there. And who else was there? There was Richie Havens, there was Harlow Guthrie, and one of the guys from Peter, Paul and Mary. And the original people, and the other place which they classified as the commercialised was like maybe 50 miles away from the original site. So it was nice to play at a place where Jimmy played 25 years ago, and I missed it, so I went back and did the gig, and it was raining, but when we started playing it stopped raining, and then when we stopped playing it started raining. So it must have been Hendrix there to help me out, I'd say.
And what about the people who went to watch? Were they sort of the people who would have been at the first one 25 years ago?
The people I spoke to had been to the original one. They all went there with their tents and everything. There wasn't sort of that much facilities, but everything was well behaved. And they were all sort of like grown-up hippies, which are people like lawyers now and accountants, except I think they put on their jeans for the weekend.
And of course, the first Woodstock 25 years ago, it also rained very heavily all through it.
Yeah, the last one, well, the first one, it was very, very bad, like with the rain, but I don't think it was as bad this time, but it still was pretty bad, and they were doing all this mudsliding bit, and, you know.
What's Noel Redding doing at the moment? He's still playing, Noel?
Yeah, I just got back from America, and I've got about 3 weeks off, and I'm going back to America to do some touring, and hopefully somebody's going to make a film out of Carol's book, and I've been asked to make another album, and this band Mountain asked me to join them, and I'm considering that, so thankfully I'm keeping very busy.
So we won't be seeing you as much around West Cork as we have to up to now?
Oh yeah, because I'd only go away for a month because I can't stand going away from it, because otherwise I go insane. I have to come back and get the brain back together.
Now, another commemorative gig you did recently was one for Brian Jones, with, and I saw you rehearse down here with Donovan and a few other notable personages from the past in a new lineup for just for that gig.
Right, well, Donovan called me up, because, you know, Donovan brought up Brian Jones's son, and he asked me to put together a band for a sort of tribute-type gig in a blues sort of idiom. So I got together with, I was buzzing there, with Eric Bell, used to be my old guitar player in Lizzie, and Les Sampson, my drummer, and we sort of did some rehearsals, as you say, here. We did a couple of gigs here in Bobby's and in Lepp. Then we went off to London, and we did the Marquee with Donovan. Marianne Faithful was there. Chris Barber turned up, and there's Paul Jones and Tom McGuinness from the blues band, and Mike Hugg, who is another friend of mine. And it was we had about 800 people in the Marquee, and it was a wonderful night altogether.
Well, I'm sure there'll be many more wonderful nights here in Clonakilty when you get your guitar on and a bit of a session going. So we look forward to some of those through the winter.
It's normally the Barrows every Friday with whoever's playing.
So that's something to look out for, folks. I told you Clonakilty is a great town. Lots going on. Stevie Bodge will be back in a minute. But first, now, a little bit of music from Bonnie Raitt. The Road's My Middle Name.
Whether you like it or not, you're bringing all the girls, you're bringing all the sisters with you. Oh, that would be wonderful, and he'd love that. He'd love it if you could all turn up, you know, just in the middle of it, around 1:30 in the morning.
Well, I think I'll give it a miss.
No, we'll arrange that you turn up at 1:30. That'll be wonderful. Patrick, who have you got over there?
I've got a man who's responsible for Clonakilty looking as beautiful as it does, and you know, as we drove in, the colours,
colourful, yeah,
very colourful town, and the Tidy Towns Committee have played a huge part in that, and John Kerr is their chairman, and he joins me. John, it really is a fabulous town from the appearance point of view. You spend a lot of money in paint, obviously, don't you?
Oh, obviously, Pat. Thanks for saying those nice things about our town here. We've been at this for 14 or 15 years. Now, I can't take credit for it. I've only been directly involved for the last 12 months. However, about 14 or 15 years ago, a local son and our county architect, Billy Hullen, opened a free advisory planning clinic for anyone interested in improving the appearance of their houses and shop fronts here in Clonakilty. The town adopted a sort of a traditional shopfront design and a sort of a multicoloured, bright-coloured approach theme for the town. And year after year, when we first entered, I think in 1980, in the national competition, rated very lowly, but we're proud of the fact that we've improved our standing year over year, every year for the last 14 years. This year, our fate will be known this coming Monday in Dublin, when the finals are announced, the final awards are announced in the Royal Hospital Kilmainham. we're expecting to do rather well this year. We're quietly confident that we will do well.
And of course you've been awarded Heritage Town status.
We were, and for that reason and for other reasons, it emphasises the need to continue with this and adopt this approach to a traditional design for the town. It's quite unique in this country. You will see as you drive through town, the buildings themselves are very colourful, but more particularly, over the years, most of the neon and plastic signs have been removed and replaced by hand-painted and crafted signs on shops and indeed in some private residences here in town. Heritage-themed town also links in with, as Charlie Conan was describing earlier, the West Cork Model Railway Village, which is again designed and themed on the heritage of our area here in West Cork.
Is it hard to get the local people to put the effort in and to keep the effort going?
I would have thought it would have been, but in fact it's quite unique here in Clonakilty. Just by way of example, we had a fundraising effort here earlier this year, what we call a Boston Tea Party. Every single club, association and voluntary society here in Clonakilty fully supported it, not just by attendance but with cash as well. All of the associations and clubs I refer to have their own fundraising. They have no definite or regular form of income or source of income for themselves, but each one of them went out and raised on our behalf and brought the funds to this Tally Towns Committee this year. It's quite fantastic. We have well up over 30 people directly involved administering the scheme. We have 20 people gainfully employed with assistance from FOSS, and Cork County Council and UDC assist us week after week after week. I would think there are probably 250 to 300 people directly and indirectly involved in attending to the Tidy Towns programme, summer and winter.
Well, we wish you every luck when the results are announced next Monday night. We'll be keeping our ears open, Steve. I can see you enjoying these gorgeous cocktail sausages. Phil Joyce sent them down to us. He thought we looked a little bit undernourished or something. So
anybody here from the Black Pudding Company yet? I was hoping
no, but we got the black pudding though.
Yes, well, somebody from the company should come over and say hello to us, because I want to know how to eat them properly and how to, the correct way to do it. Sinead O'Crowley joins me at our outside broadcast unit just inside the door of O'Donovan's Hotel. And you came to Clonakilty at an early age.
Yes, I came to Clonakilty when I was about 4 from London with my parents, Kevin and Brenda O'Crowley.
And you've been living here ever since?
I love it. I would never move out for good.
Good girl. But now you're zigzagging all over the world. You are certainly... How old are you?
I'm 21 in November now.
Okay, well, it would be a good night's entertainment. Will you be celebrating here in Clonakilty?
Well, yeah. In the rugby club, hopefully we'll have a party.
But you're zigzagging all over the place. Please tell the listeners where you've been. I mean, you've been to, the West Bank.
Well, I was in the West Bank this summer in the occupied territories for 7 weeks doing some research work on my dissertation. And I'm going into third year in Belfast, in Queen's University in Belfast this year, and my dissertation has to be ready for February. So I spent 7 weeks in the West Bank researching it and living in a Palestinian village.
And what did you take away from living in somewhere? I mean, it's a war zone you were in, effectively.
It was, yes, it was. And it was a great experience because coming from the West and going to the Middle East, especially to the West Bank, I mean, you're experiencing a lot of poverty and you come home and you really appreciate home and what you have after that experience. It's a great life experience. And also, of course, you get to know their culture a lot more and their history, and of course you get to respect it and appreciate it a lot more before you went.
As a woman, I mean, being there, I mean, how the Arabs, how do they take women? I mean, you're coming there doing research. How do you feel you were received?
Well, it's very hard to be taken seriously as a woman doing research over there, and you do get a lot of harassment in the Old City and in the West Bank, but it's only really verbal harassment. They would never take it further than that. I was followed around a few times by men in cars, and you get your bum pinched by people in the Old City, but it's part of the experience. But it can be very tough at times, sticking it out for 7 weeks. I felt like coming home at one stage because I just, you're not used to being treated like that as a woman in the West. And when you come back then you really sort of say, we have such an easier life over here compared to the women and what they have to put up with.
And dress out of doors, did you have to?
Oh, you have to be very careful. Yeah. You couldn't wear shorts or, low-cut tops or anything like that. I mean, I was always covered from the neck down, my arms, my legs. They were always covered. That's why I didn't come back with a tan.
So you have to have a respect for the culture.
Yes, you do. Very much so.
Okay. And Arabic, is it
Arabic? It's a lovely language to listen to the people speaking on the street. Hopefully I'd like to go back and learn it some summer. I'd say it'd be quite easy to learn to speak it, but as regards writing it, it would be very hard because it's a very sort of artistic language. Because in the mosques, Muslims aren't allowed any pictures, so that's why their language has become very artistic. You know, they use that instead of pictures and paintings in their mosques.
So you were attending a university out there?
I was,
Is
yeah.
it a well-known university?
It's Brazil University in the West Bank. The head of politics out there would be quite well known in the academic field for his work on the Middle East. His name is Ali Jarbawi, and it's a beautiful university and it's very well equipped. But it gets a lot of donations from America, you know, from Palestinians living in America and abroad, and it will be able to sort of compete with universities over here as regards their facilities because they are very good, and they've very high standard of teaching there.
And you especially wanted to go there?
I did, yeah. My lecturer lives out there for sort of summer and Easters and Christmases of the year. She goes back, and this year she's actually lecturing in Brazil. She's taken a year out, and she did a lot of her research out there when she was a student, so now she's sort of come to live there on a part-time basis because her husband's in the UN and she loves it out there, and she gave us a chance. She got us the application forms and she sort of pushed us to go for the summer and do research out there, and it was a great experience.
And would Arabic and Israeli go to this university?
Oh, no. It's just an Arab university, a Palestinian. There are settlements in the West Bank, Israeli settlements, but they would be very, very closely guarded, and they'd be sort of fenced in and everything, and they'd be moved out at night because a settler can't walk around the West Bank. Like one day we were downtown in Ramallah and a blast bomb was thrown into a car because there was a settler driving through. He had taken the wrong road and he had driven through the Arab town, you see, and they wouldn't mix. There'd be the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. That's where most of the Israelis would go, or they'd go back to America.
And going shopping would not be a very pleasant experience,
would it? It's not a great idea on a Saturday. I went for cheese one day, just for a tub of cheese, and it took me nearly 3 hours because I had to dive in and out of shops because there was a bit of a riot on, and they were tear gassing people, and there was plastic bullets being fired and sound bombs. They're sort of like a tin can, and when you throw it, it sounds like an explosion, but nothing comes out. It's just a sound, and they throw it into shops to frighten people and frighten children.
Wow.
It's very psychological.
Riots like this are a regular occurrence?
On Saturdays, that's what they seem to do on Saturdays.
Saturday at 12 o'clock, hey?
Yeah, down in the Menara in Ramallah.
Time for riot. But then you took yourself from there to Belfast.
Yeah, Belfast. I love Belfast. It's great. It's a great university. It's
really, Belfast after the West Bank, one would say, well, why not come back to Clonakilty and go to UCC and be lovely and quiet out there?
Oh,
For a nice girl like you. Why Belfast?
Belfast. I fell in love with the university and the people up there on an open day, and I liked the choice of politics modules because I wanted to do one on the Middle East specifically, and you were facilitated up there. You could do that, and the people up there are great. They're very friendly and welcoming. It's a nice university, and you don't meet that much trouble at all. Very rarely you'd come across trouble up there, and the social life is great, of course, and very cheap.
Okay, so are you heading back to Belfast?
I am on Sunday now. Oh. Yeah, I don't really want to go. I'm going to miss Clon a lot because
certainly are.
I'm enjoying it.
Well, we wish you well in your travels.
Okay.
Obviously, you have many more places you want to see.
Oh yeah, hopefully now next year Asia maybe. China, India. I'm not really sure yet, but hopefully it'll go well.
We wish you well in your travels.
Okay, thank you.
There she goes, isn't she nice? Sinead O'Crowley, and they're coming around. All the local papers are coming around. Hold on, cameraman. I'll be back to you in a few moments. This is Christine Williams, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
How are you doing, Christine?
Fine, thank you.
Now, tonight is a big night for you. Yes. You're in the finals of?
Staying competition in Bandon, in the Jug of Punch.
And it's the karaoke.
Yes,
is the karaoke still going?
It is, yeah. It's going very well in Bandon, in Brian Desmond's, and in the Jug of Punch.
Well, I thought, Christine, the karaoke had died at 1,001 deaths, about 2 years ago.
No, it's still going in Bandon anyway. It's very good in Bandon and around Clon as well.
Right. And local bars will have it, local cabaret venues?
Yeah, they'll have them all around, yeah. It's very good.
So now, you're in the finals tonight. You're hoping to pick up a fine prize, I hope. And what are you playing for tonight? What's the first prize?
The prize is £300 tonight and a recording session.
Good girl. What song are you going to please them with this evening? What are you doing tonight?
Crazy.
Do you want to do a rehearsal now?
No.
I haven't got my karaoke machine with me, you understand? However, there's a bit of black pudding in it for you from the lads across the road, and any other little present we can find for you. If you can give us, a verse and chorus of Crazy. And you'll all join in, won't you? Yes, they will. Of course they will. Okay, then, Christine Williams, take it away.
Crazy,
I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy, crazy. I knew you'd love me as long as you wanted, and then someday you'd leave me for somebody new. Worry, oh why do I let myself worry? I'm wondering, what in the world did I do? Oh, crazy for thinking that my love could hold you. I'm crazy for trying and crazy for crying, and I'm crazy for loving you.
Wonderful. We wish you well tonight.
Thanks.
Are you up against some serious competition this
Yeah.
evening? Oh, you
Yeah.
did well there. I mean, on a company, you did very well. So we wish you well this evening.
Thanks very much.
And thanks for being with us. Okay, folks, quarter to four it is. We'll take a break.
Hot stuff, the sensational music of the 70s. Dig out your platforms and flares and boogie on down to the...
But the old foyer is fairly filling up here on O'Donovan's Hotel this afternoon. Good afternoon to you, sir. Who are you?
James Quinn.
Where are you from?
Fairlands, Russmore, Clonakilty, a native of Ballyregget, County Kilkenny.
Ah, good part of the world, up around Kilkenny.
Not too bad at all.
And what brought you to this fair end of the island?
Oh, well, did like that. I joined the army.
Yeah.
Was stationed in Castlefree.
Mm.
I met a little woman from the Pike.
Yes.
And
who stole your heart away.
Stole my heart away, is right.
Right.
And the next thing was, believe it or believe it not, we got married in 1952.
Good boy.
That's a few years back.
It is indeed. But you've been living here happily ever since.
Ever since. Lovely.
Good stuff. And in fact, you just come from the hospital, haven't you?
Yes. No, I'm going up there now.
Yes. Your good lady wife's up there.
My good lady, my good little missus is up there.
Okay. I hope she's tuned our way this afternoon.
I hope to God that she is, because I love to have her listen to this.
Good boy.
I love every bit of her.
Every little bit of her.
My little movement.
And you've had a good life together.
We had a good life together. We're 53 years married.
Really?
53 years.
And can you remember the day you met, you two?
I can remember the day we met too. I met in the Pike.
And tell us what were you doing there? You know?
I went into the pub for a few drinks.
Yeah.
I went into the pub for a few drinks, and
yeah.
So
was she there?
She was there. Yeah.
Oh, was she behind the bar?
No, she wasn't behind the bar. She was in the kitchen.
Right.
So next thing was I had a few drinks, and the next day I was invited in, and I had a cup of tea.
Good. Yeah.
In the kitchen.
Right.
That's a long time ago now.
Yeah. Well, she's listening now. She's remembering. You better get the details correct here. Go on, yeah.
But it was well, the publican that was there at that time was Andy Leahy, and his missus was the same. She was, well, in fairness, like to her missus, you know, she was a Limerick woman.
Right. She introduced you, did she?
Oh, me God, she didn't know it.
And that was it?
That was it.
You were hooked?
I got hooked. I got hooked when I saw her first, anyway, you know.
It was love at first sight?
Oh, yes, that's for sure.
Ah, beautiful. This is lovely. Now, you're on the way up to the hospital. I have some very fine black pudding here. This is Clonakilty's finest black pudding.
God.
Would you be partial to a bit of that?
Holy God. Would be all right, too.
Okay. Well, all you have to do is, you're in the Take 5 quiz. Get at least one right, and you can take away the black pudding.
God, I can't think of them anyway.
Okay. Name the highest volcano in Europe.
Sydney, is it?
In Sicily, it certainly is, Mount Etna. If you were born on the 28th of July, what star sign would you be?
Leo.
Leo, you certainly would. Who drove his Chevy to the levee?
Holy God.
No, it is. Don McLean. Who created Noddy?
I did not.
Enid Blyton.
Where do Liverpool Football Club play their home games?
My God, they play at home and away.
They play at Anfield. He did well, didn't he do well? Come on, give him a round of applause. Again, I want you to take this, see this black pudding here, Clonakilty's finest black pudding. I want you to take that to the little lady and give her my love and my best wishes and take it home and enjoy it.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you very much, because, no, in fairness, like, would you like me to sing a song for you?
Well, I'd like you to sing a song. Well, I'll come back to you for a song because I have all the cyclists just arriving. I'll come back to them for the song. The cyclists are just arriving, aren't they, Pat?
Indeed they are. I mean, we picked a great day to be here. We were talking about cycling in Australia a while ago, Irish people going to Australia to cycle, but I'm joined now by some people who came from England to cycle around West Cork. And on a day like today, we did indeed above in Isaacs in McCurtain Street.
9:30 this morning, all this gang were rubbing the oil on the limbs.
And the lady responsible is Helen Castle. Helen Castle, you're with VSO, Voluntary Service Overseas. You're on a charity cycle around West Cork. First of all, can you tell me, what is VSO?
Voluntary Service Overseas sends volunteers to developing countries around the world, about 55 countries, for 2 years. And they pass on skills and knowledge to the people out there. So it's not actual money we're sending out there. We're actually trying to do long-term development by sending sort of knowledge and skills.
And what sort of skills are needed out there? What type of people do you send?
We send a very wide variety. Medical people, business people, engineers, almost anything you can think of, we can send out there.
You're here in West Cork, as we say, on a charity cycle run. Not something we'd associate with voluntary services. And why in West Cork?
Well, we wanted to run a bike ride in order to raise money for VSO, and we've run it to Amsterdam before, and we surveyed our cyclists and asked them where they'd like to go next, and they all wanted to go to Ireland. And when we said, so that's why we decided to come to Ireland, because they all wanted to do it.
And how many cyclists have you brought with you?
We've got about 130 cyclists with us.
And how much money do you hope to raise in the run?
We hope to raise £20,000, which would be wonderful. And we'd like to thank Guinness very much for sponsoring the ride.
Well, we're joined here by some of the people on the cycle. We have a husband and wife team here, Alison and Keith.
That's right.
You served overseas with VSO in Tanzania, I believe.
That's right, yeah.
What were you doing out there?
I'm an occupational therapist. I was working in a large hospital in the north of Tanzania.
And Keith, you?
I'm a laboratory technician and I'm working in the same hospital.
And why did you decide to go?
Quite personal. I mean, I was in a job that I wasn't very happy with, and it was something that I've been thinking of for a while. And, it's a good decision, really.
And Keith, you?
Yeah, again, I was in the same job for 9 years. I had no ties, and I thought, I want to do something different, so it sounded a good idea. I've never regretted it.
And is that where you met?
It is, yeah.
So no wonder you don't regret it.
That's right.
And what was it like doing the 2-year service out there? Was it hard? Was it rewarding? Was it
certainly rewarding? I think we were in a very nice house. I think some people go into quite hard conditions over there, kind of mud huts and no electricity, but we had a very nice house and we were very well looked after and people were very friendly, so we couldn't have had it better, really.
Louise, you were in Tanzania as well?
Yes, I was in the north of Tanzania, near Lake Victoria.
And what were you doing?
I was a clinical instructor for nurses in the hospital. It was a fairly big mission hospital run by Dutch missionaries.
We see pictures of African countries on television over the last few years, and it generally they're sad pictures, famine, hardship. Was it like that where you were?
No, there wasn't so much famine where I was, and I can't say that it was a sad country either, because the people there they have a different attitude altogether. In fact, they're very happy compared to the people in our country. You come home and you see much more long faces, certainly in England, but out there the people are somehow very happy. Possibly in those poor conditions, it brings out a spirit and a unity in the people that is something that you can't quite understand or appreciate until you've been out there and lived in that kind of country and that kind of community. Quite fantastic, really.
And you bring that spirit back home to you when you finish your 2-year term of service?
You certainly can't forget it. It changes your attitude totally. Yeah.
And what's the reaction of people when you come home then and you sort of, if you like, get back into what we call the normal sort of a life, looking for a job and that type of thing? Is it something that prospective employers value, the fact that you've done this type of service?
Seen as quite a positive experience. I remember my job interview when I came back and all we talked about was experience with VSO.
Helen, can I just ask you, if Irish people were interested in getting involved with VSO, is there any reason that they couldn't?
No, there's no reason. I mean, there are obviously sort of organisations over here also which send volunteers overseas. But if they were interested in coming through VSO, that would be fine as well. But I believe Concern is very similar.
That's right, you do similar type of work to Concern, which we'd be more familiar with.
Yeah.
What countries does VSO operate in at the moment?
Well, there's about 55 countries around the world, so quite a few.
You have a choice.
Yeah, you